Thank you, Ashley. Outrage continues to grow in the wake of our story about several New York State funds for veterans, funds that you donate to and that have sat untouched for years. A state controller's audit showing no money getting to the veterans. Here's the commissioner of Veterans Services when we tracked her down 2 months ago.
It's about to be rolled out.
But it hasn't been rolled out. 1.5 million sitting there in one account, 1.3 million sitting there in another account, not touched. And by law, it has to go out the year it's collected.
Once again, nothing is being withheld from our veterans. We have announcements that are coming out and rollouts that are being done that are coming out in the coming weeks.
Now, we told you last week that the Senate Veterans Committee has gotten involved, and now so too has the New York State Assembly. The two houses came together at the Capitol today, calling on the governor's office to release the money. Here now, the latest chapter in this You Paid For It saga. The outrage is bipartisan and now bicameral. Both parties in both houses want to know what's going on with New York State tax checkoff funds for veterans.
It's unconscionable.
It's simple, really. Check a box on your tax return and part of your refund goes to help veterans. Wrong. That's what's supposed to happen, but for years that money has gone nowhere. 1.5 million in one fund for veterans cemeteries, 1.3 in another. That one for homeless veterans. Assemblymember Robert Smullen of Fulton County is a veteran himself.
My immediate reaction as a Marine who looks after the veterans on the New York State Assembly Veterans Affairs Committee is release the funds now.
Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel John Brownrigg.
Totally disgusted that New York State is not dispersing these funds.
And retired Army Specialist Emil Baker.
It's amazing. I don't know how this could happen.
Are American heroes. Both saw active duty in the Vietnam War. Both can't believe what they're seeing now with the checkoff funds.
Our veterans are suffering, not only from Vietnam, but certainly from Afghanistan, Malawi, Iraq, etc. And they're just out there homeless. And it's appalling that New York State has not dispersed this money, but yet they've collected it.
Emil Baker is still on the front lines, helping veterans who need it.
There's so many needy people in need of life support. They're in need of apartments. They're in need of food. They're in need of things. There's agencies that help them. But why is this money sitting in somebody's pocket doing nothing?
And that's where lawmakers come in. On this day, they are calling for the governor's office to get involved. Senator Jessica Scarcella-Spanton chairs the Senate Veterans Committee and is married to a veteran.
As a veteran, there's a huge transition going from military life to civilian life. And knowing that there was funds that sat there unused was a bit of a gut punch.
And miraculously, you might say, just hours before this news conference, the Department of Veterans Services told senators what we learned last week, that a very small amount of these funds is starting to flow out.
Why is it just not dispersed? We're not asking for it to flow. We're asking you to follow the law and disperse the money.
I want to know what the government's doing with this stuff.
Everybody wants to know that. It's a real mystery. And again, you know people who it could help, right?
Absolutely. People whose lives would be improved with this. And it's just sitting there being wasted in this account with no purpose and no delivery. And it's shameful. Shameful on New York and shameful on the whole process.
No, I can tell you the money that is finally trickling out from the Homeless Veterans Fund is not going to homeless veterans. It's going to help some veterans with home projects. The Department of Veterans Services tells me they are waiting to see how this initial outlay of funds goes before they actually help the homeless. All right, I want to